Daredevil, Matt Murdock, the man without fear, is taking on a whole new slew of rogues. It's Rogues Revamp. What's up, universe, and welcome back to the web's first must-see comic and nerd culture show. Welcome to Comic Universe, guys. I'm your host, as always, C-Dubs, and guys, riding solo on this video. And it's time for another Rogues Revamp, guys. And with the recent release of Daredevil Season 3, and the rumors going around that this will be the final season, and it is getting the Danny Rand and Luke Cage treatment of being cut, and possibly going over to the Disney streaming service, I figured what better way to celebrate Season 3 than to do a Rogues Revamp for the man without fear. Now, if you're not familiar with Rogues Revamp, this is where we take other villains and characters from other media, not just comic books, it'd be cartoon, movies, video games, so forth and so on, all the way out into the ether, if you will, and characters that we believe would be a good fit to fit into such particular characters' rogues gallery, if you will. We all know that obviously Batman and Spider-Man probably lead all fandom in terms of actual rogues gallery, having the best, if you will. The Flash actually his rogues gallery coining the term, if you will, rogues gallery. And, you know, he probably might have the second, or I should say the third most popular rogues gallery. So here's what we're going to do. In my opinion, when it comes to street level characters, and though Spider-Man at times can be above a street level character, he's generally consisted of mainly street level, maybe on the higher hierarchy, if you will. But Batman, Spider-Man, and Daredevil probably round out the top three of your street level big bad guys, bashing guys, if you will. Now, Daredevil, as popular as he is, does not have the biggest rogues gallery. He actually has a very minuscule rogues gallery. Granted, he only really deals with a block stretch, if you will, or a couple of blocks in, if you will, but from time to time he is kind of looking over all of New York right along there with Spider-Man. And, you know, you could also argue maybe Punisher kind of fits in there too. But today we're going to be focusing on Daredevil. We are going to be giving you 13 because it is the month of October. And what better way to celebrate than a creepy number? Anyway, guys, this is not like an official countdown, if you will. But just for the sake of making it a little easier, this video, we're going to do it countdown style to the main guy I would like to see as one of his rogues gallery. Also, keep in mind, this is really easy for the likes of us to do because we also do have a fan fiction universe that we have kind of pulled together, mainly me and DPZ, called Crossover Universe, if you will. And again, that YOU and the universe does always carry over with us. And guys, we kind of put that on the back burner just to kind of focus more on our YouTube channel, if you will. But it is something that's brewing in the background, so it's really easy for us to kind of envision these fights and envision what characters we would love to see. And maybe someday we'll actually write some fan fiction, and maybe you guys can critique it for us, guys. So anyway, let's go ahead and jump right on into this with number 13. At number 13, an oldie but a goodie, one that absolutely makes absolute sense. The head of the demon himself, Ra's al Ghul. First appearing in Batman 232 in June in 1971, we all know him. He is the environmental assassin, the likes the world has never seen before or since. The demon himself. Ra's al Ghul is a type of man that is always looking for the best successor to him, even though the gentleman seems to be able to live forever. Now, without question, Daredevil, in many ways, is equal to Batman, and in many ways not. But absolutely, with the time and time again of failing to convince Batman to lead the League of Assassins, what better second option than the man without fear himself, the former leader of the Hand, if you will, Matt Murdock, the Daredevil. I could totally see this going down really easy. This one was suggested to me by Jay. And this one makes absolute sense. And even though it's so easy just to interchange a Spider-Man or Batman villain into the Daredevil Rogues Gallery, this one I think is the top. And there are like 2 or 3 other Batman villains that I think could really, really play a good factor into Matt Murdock's Rogues Gallery, if you will. But truly, truly, as we all know, master of hand-to-hand combat, master tactician, leader of the League of Assassins, and Daredevil knows how to deal with assassins and ninjas galore. So I could just totally see this, Agul just having it in for Daredevil, trying to convince him just so that he can get and take down the Batman, figuring that if he has the man without fear leading the League of Assassins, or at least being his protege, that will give him the edge he needs to overthrow the Dark Knight Batman, if you will. At number 12, we have Vincent Albert Ricardo from the movie Collateral, starring Jamie Foxx and Tom Cruise. This guy is an assassin. He is super intelligent. He is a great hand-to-hand combatant. He is a strategist. This guy puts together a plan and executes it well. He knows how to get by without being noticed. He's a very bland and seamless guy, easily able to hide in a crowd. But with Daredevil, it wouldn't matter because he would home into his heartbeat, if you will. But I could totally see Vincent being hired in by, for instance, the Kingpin, as many other assassins have been entered in, but none with so much personality or lack thereof, if you will. Vincent has essentially ice water running through his veins. If the price is right, night night. At number 11, we have Singh Koo from Lethal Weapon 4, played by the ever entertaining Jet Li. Singh Koo is a bad mofo, a member of the Triad. He brings tons of reinforcement if needed, machine guns if needed, hand-to-hand combatants if needed, but 9 times out of 10, it is not needed when you're dealing with Singh Koo. This dude is a bad dude, able to go hand-to-hand with the likes of Daredevil, I would say, with great ease. He is a man of very few words, and a man who makes very little noise, if you will. So it would be a challenge, I think, for Daredevil to face this young man. And he also has his signature prayer beads that double as a strangling device. Okay, they do stretch and seem to be at least as strong as piano wire. So this is a device that, Daredevil would be able to kind of sonar see the fact that they are nothing more than beads, but as they're quickly stretched out and wrapped around his throat, he will then realize there's a lot more to these beads than just being something used for praying. We saw him go toe-to-toe with Riggs, who is a bad dude. He is a great combatant. He is a tough guy, police and martial arts trained, military trained, and Singh Koo was able to go toe-to-toe with him, and I don't think it would be any different with our boy Daredevil. He's also just visually kind of stunning just in his white robes. It would be a nice contrast to see in the likes of the comics, if you will, against the dark backgrounds that you usually find in a Daredevil comic, as well as, the red tone to Daredevil's suit. And obviously, as these two guys would go at it, definitely blood would be splattering here and there. And the contrast, I think, of seeing his white attire, his white robes, would be pretty awesome. At number 10, we have Sandra Wu San, also known as Lady Shiva, the paper monkey herself, Jade Canary, the mother of Cassandra Cain. This is a woman unmatched. This woman's hand-to-hand prowess is second to none. This is a demon of a hell witch. She is out to prove she is the greatest in the world, essentially. Her hobby is essentially hunting down the best fighters in the world and beating them to death with her bare hands. She is definitely a dragon in human form, if you will. Just ask the likes of the Huntress, Batman, Robin, Nightwing, basically all of the Bat family. They know how deadly Lady Shiva actually is. And even in the Arkham universe, fighting her was no easy task. This is a woman on a mission. And I could totally see her coming in to Hell's Kitchen, okay, with nothing more than just to prove that she is better than the man who took down the Hand. Okay, and that would be it. Yes, another Batman Rogues Gallery member. Like I said, they do fit very well. And this is yet another one that Jay suggested that I place in this video. And let me tell you guys, he was spot on with this one. And with the number 10 slot is going to be Lady Shiva. And tell me, guys, you don't see this fight or want to see this fight in comic or fan fiction form. It would just be epic. Now, there are many times where Daredevil has had his ass handed to him, but I don't know if it would ever be as fast as this. At number 9, Hunter Rose, aka Grendel. This is a man who has succeeded at everything he has ever tried to do, never knowing the likes of defeat, if you will. He is a master world-class championship fencer. He is a successful writer, and at a very young age, he established the greatest crime syndicate the world had ever known. He is a professional assassin and hitman. He is a master hand-to-hand combatant, and I could totally see him moving in on Wilson Fisk's territory, establishing himself, establishing his dominance, and Daredevil being caught in the middle of a gang war, trying to stop these two, finding out that Grendel is more than a match for him. He moves in silence, he moves swiftly, he is a killer nonetheless. I could totally see him as well as, since he is already a successful writer, writing articles for newspapers or whatnot, essentially destroying the character of Daredevil to where it's an entire citywide manhunt, okay, just based off of his pen to paper before ever having to touch a sword for his fencing ability or to go hand to hand with Daredevil. This is just a match made in heaven and one I would love to see hit the pages. We did see the likes of Grendel facing the Shadow, as well as Batman, as well as teaming up with those guys. So he can go toe-to-toe with some of the best out there. And this would just be totally awesome to see. At number 8, we have none other than the Pack from Disney's Gargoyle. This one, it was suggested by DPZ himself. This funny little story about the Pack was introduced to me by DPZ because I never gave the Gargoyles a chance as a kid. Where I lived in Miami, Gargoyles came on the same time as Batman the Animated Series, and it's just a no-brainer, right? So something that I missed, that I was very sad that I missed, and this was before DVRs, and never thought to record it for some strange reason. And overall, I absolutely love the show now, and the Pack. The Pack, as we all know, started off as a hoax TV series, almost in the vein, I would say, something similar to American Gladiators, if you guys know what that is, consisting of several members of, I would say, canine-themed combatants. Fox, wolf, dingo, jackal, and hyena. Also, we did get Coyote, who was kind of a robot slash version. Now, in what I'm suggesting is before they get their major upgrades, if you will. Okay? The Pack is definitely a force to be reckoned with. They were able to go toe-to-toe and cause trouble and drama for the likes of the Gargoyles, who far outmatch in sheer strength and speed. Okay? And I would say in just general experience in combat. just because of how old gargoyles actually are. So therefore, the pack would make more than enough of a trouble and combatant for the likes of Daredevil. Totally can just see that, Wilson Fisk calls in a favor, calls Xanatos essentially, business, partner, if you will, on many low down dirty schemes, and he just gets the number of the pack and gets them. And I know over the course of the series, we had some members become heroes and the team break up, but we're talking all before that. The pack would be out there trying to stop the devil, and it would just be absolutely awesome to see hand-to-hand fight between the pack and Daredevil. Initially, I would say Daredevil would be outclassed because of sheer numbers and just because of the heightened abilities that they have in fighting and whatnot and their weaponry. But it would be an awesome fight to see in the pages or on TV, or even through the interwebs of fan fiction. Universe, let us definitely know in the comments below if you guys like this one, because as soon as DPZ gave this suggestion, I was like, oh, hell yeah. I would love to see this one. At number 7, Alexander DeLarge from A Clockwork Orange. Now, this is one of my favorite villains of all time. One of the most deranged, psycho, Chiquita nutcases out there. Okay, right in the same vein as the Joker. Like, he honestly could be the son, and I would totally, if you told me that was his son, I would totally believe it. Now, Alexander is a man just wants to see the world burn. He is mischief incarnate. He is death and destruction everywhere he goes. He is a plague on everything, essentially. He absolutely would serve no purpose other than to just wreak havoc across Hell's Kitchen, if you will. I see this character being somewhat of an anarchy type of character to him as Anarchy is to Batman, but a lot more worse. This is like Anarchy meets Joker, and I think he could honestly be one of Daredevil's main villains, if you will. Sure, he just seems really low-key and likes to just cause death and destruction to innocent bystanders, if you will. But that's just on the outside. On the inside is a crazed maniac willing to do whatever it took. And in the world of comic books or fan fiction, the world is his oyster, to be, to put it bluntly. As comics, everything gets exaggerated. So just imagine this guy with the comic, today I decided I'm going to take over the city. Oh, today I decide I'm just going to set the entire city ablaze, if you will. Oh, today I'm going to steal some diamonds. Today I'm just going to ransack some homes, rape some women, beat some dogs. Whatever it is he wants to do, he's just going to go out there and do. And it's going to be up to Matt Murdock to put an end to him. I could totally see this one starting off in the courtroom. Him trying to convict him or get him convicted, okay, or just basically, trying to defend one of his victims who happened to survive, okay, and then realizing how deep, dark, and twisted Alexander really, really is. And I'm telling you guys, would be an awesome rogue to be added, if you will. Not to mention he does come with a crew that likes to kind of just beat up on things as well. He is a great manipulator as well, and I could see him just manipulating people to follow him and kind of just, hey, if when you ain't got no cares in the world, nothing can stop you, right? At number 6 is a weird one, suggested by DPZ as well. But let me explain how I see this all putting together. At number 6, Michael Myers. That's right, the boogeyman. The shape. The man who hunts at Halloween, if you will. The reason I see Michael Myers being a decent combatant for the Man Without Fear is simply put, I think it all starts in the courtroom. I think that Laurie finds herself in trouble, trying to kill Michael Myers, being labeled as being clinically insane herself, maybe even being blamed for some of the murders, okay? And Daredevil coming to her defense, proving her innocent, Okay, but realizing, just by listening to her heartbeat, how evil and demonic she believes to be Michael Myers to be. So Daredevil would then find his way out to go out of his way to find and seek out Michael Myers, finding him much more of an issue than he ever dreamed imaginable. He never in his wildest nightmares did he believe that everything Laurie said, okay, could possibly be true and then some. This would be like fighting a brick wall, essentially. Something's got to give, and usually it's your knuckles, And he would just be, for lack of a better term, an unstoppable force heading towards a movable object. And Daredevil would find that most of his attacks don't phase the Son of Thorn, if you will. Okay, guys, and I just see him just coming and being relentless, just trying to cause death and destruction for the man without fear. And I find Michael would find an affection for Matt Murdock in the terms of being another one of the only people to survive his rampant mayhem. And I think he would have his sights out for him in future fights, if you will. At number 5 is an entire squad, if you will. A squad of snakes. The Deadly Viper Assassination Squad, led by Bill, aka Snake Charmer. From Kill Bill, if you will. Now, these guys were all top-notch assassins, second to none, if you will, in their respected universe. Filled with members like Beatrix Kiddo, okay, or Ren. These guys are top-notch mercenaries that would come at Daredevil in many different ways. They themselves have a Hanzo sword, which could literally slice through most materials. Now, it's not on par with some of the other ancient or mystic swords that the Marvel Cinematic or the Marvel Universe actually has, but the Hanzo sword is nothing to shy away from. It is definitely top notch. These guys, he would send his deadly vipers out after the man without fear. Again, Beatrix Kiddo, Ellie Driver, Oren, Bud, and Green, if you will. They would all be essentially coming at him in many different ways. Like I said, some with firearms, some with swords, some being deceitful and just trying to kind of weasel their way into his life to kill him from the inside out, if you will. But there would be no doubt that the Deadly Viper gang, if you will, the Deadly Viper Assassination Squad, would be awesome. And granted, this would have to be early in their days, prior to them all breaking up and going their separate ways from the arc of Kill Bill, if you will. At number 4, the Shadow Master, the main antagonist from the Double Dragon Saturday Morning animated series. That's loosely based on the video game, if you will. He also featured in Double Dragon 4 Shadow Falls. His ultimate goal is to cover the world in darkness. He has many powers that include shape-shifting and teleporting. He has a shadow mural that he's able to trap generally the people that fail him, but I'm sure he could trap his enemies in as well. Think of it almost like a carbonadium picture frame, if you will, that just traps people, mind, body, and soul within it, stilled for all time until he chooses fit to release you. He wields a half a sword, half a scythe weapon that is able to detach and be used as a multiple weapon, one in each hand, if you will. He is a all-seeking power, your stereotypical, I want to rule the world through any means necessary. He is a master and well-versed in the dark arts, both in the dark arts in terms of hand-to-hand prowess and magic. This is a villain that is so right up Matt's alley, it's not even funny. I could totally see him, after the fall of the hand or something, him just swooping right in there with his shadowlings and just trying to take over the city. And we would have a big time story arc. I would call it Shadowfall, if you will. And guys, this would be an epic battle between the two of them. Daredevil standing up to this powerful minion would just be absolutely awesome. And there's only 3 guys I think would fit better as a Daredevil villain, if you will. Matt would definitely have his guard up around this guy at all times. He would be able to tell and maybe sense when he shapeshifts that he was something else. Another thing Shadow Master can do is he can teleport, essentially just jump in and out of shadows. So literally, you know, if you're fighting in a poorly lit room, if there's some sort of a shadow, he can pop out of it, punch you, jump back in, almost kind of like Spider-Man's villain Spot, if you will, just in and out of the shadows. He's a very difficult combatant to face, very powerful. He's physically strong, he's physically fit. Though he may have white hair, he is not aged at all, if you will. He hasn't succumbed to age by any stretch of the matter. This would be an absolute beast of a fight between Daredevil and the Shadow Master. At number 3, Storm Shadow of G.I. Joe fame. Ninja assassin, covert ops trained, intelligent. He's got tactical training, ranger school underneath his belt. The dude knows, I don't even know how many martial arts, to be honest with you. Specialized in many, if not all, forms of weaponry. Longbow, samurai sword, nunchucks, throwing stars, shurikens, if you will. This guy can do it all. And if he has to, he can rely back on military weaponry as well. Generally chooses not to, but he definitely can. The guy is a absolute beast, can go toe to toe with the likes of Snake Eyes and any Joe in his respected universe. The dude has gone toe to toe with the likes of Ryu as well. This guy can do it all, to be honest with you. This guy is just an absolute beast. He is not to be messed with because he moves in silence, okay? And initially, and definitely at first, he would definitely pose Matt a huge problem. Daredevil, you know, so keen to listening in when you're dealing with a ninja at the level of Storm Shadow, who essentially moves in almost complete silence. Okay, it's like the dude is surrounded in vibranium, if you will. But I totally could see him going at him. And, you know, I can definitely see, you know, yeah, they may both have some sort of disability, but Snake Eyes and Matt, you know, being friends, okay, maybe have trained somewhere together at some point in time. I could definitely see him mistaking, you know, Daredevil for Snake Eyes. Okay, maybe that's how he ends up in the city, okay, trying to take him out. It would just absolutely be awesome. And to see it actually, let's say, in comic cover, if you will, on just in comics in general, just to see, again, the white and the red and the darkness of Hell's Kitchen, if you will, just the way it would clash on the page and just mend really well together. It'd be really awesome to see. At number 2 universe, we have David Lo Pan. That's right, from Big Trouble in Little China. Also parodied and essentially adapted into the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle universe, if you will. Well, a version of him, if you will. This is the perfect scenario, just as it was a perfect match for him to be in the Ninja Turtles, or a version of him to be in the Ninja Turtles, Nickelodeon Ninja Turtles cartoon. It would be the same here, because essentially Ninja Turtles is just a parody and ripoff, if you will, from Daredevil. And it is perfect, if you will, in my opinion. Lo Pan is a sorcerer, head of the Wing Kong Exchange and the Wing Kong Gang. This guy has everything from guys with guns to gods of wind, rain, and lightning, if you will. Working with him and alongside him, he is a master of martial arts. This guy could do it all. He is wicked to the bone, and it would be absolutely entertaining as hell to see Matt Murdock go up the likes of Lo Pan, if you will. You know, it's not off kilter for Daredevil to actually face magic, if you will. So it's definitely something that can happen. And I would just absolutely love to see it. especially on the pages, if you will, of the comic book, again, with just a transition of colors and the light sources that come from Lopan. This would absolutely be killer. Universe, it's time for number one for today's Rogues Revamp. I know this is a long video, guys, but I really put my heart and soul into this one, thinking up this list, and I just had to give everybody their proper due and just mention, if you will. So, number one, without further ado, little history lesson. The likes of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles really does exist thanks to Daredevil. Essentially, the mutagen is the same material that caused Daredevil his blindness, and the parallels between the two universes are writing on the wall, if you will, clear as day. You have the Foot Clan and the Hand, okay? You have Stick and Splinter, okay? It's just how it is, guys. And they mirror each other so well that it is only fitting to have Oroku Saki, the Shredder, as the number one bad guy that should be in his Rogues Gallery. Obviously originating in Japan, making his way to New York City. Now, there are many versions of Shredder, but we're just going to stick to your traditional, original, whether it be comic book, even closer to the original cartoon, not the Uatu version, with the alien in his stomach. And, even if you want to take the Nick version as well, it's totally fine. Leader of the Foot Clan, as well as has the access of Krang and Dimension X at his fingertips. Enemies to the likes of Splinter, Leonardo, and all the turtles, if you will. His weapons are his steel claws, that are mounted to his body, essentially. He can use various forms of martial arts weaponry. Master of every weapon the turtles actually use, to be honest with you. This guy is a tactician. He is also quite rich, to be honest with you. So he is able to support and fund, and hire other assassins if need be. This is a guy that really, to be honest, does not need too much introduction, or there is not too much to say about him. We all know who the Shredder is. We all love the Shredder. And tell me it just wouldn't be absolutely badass to see Matt Murdock, the man without fear, go against the Shredder. Well, that's the list, universe. Again, I know I didn't mean for it to be this long, but as I was going, I was just having way too much fun with it, guys. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe on the video. Let us know who would be in your Rogues Revamp for Daredevil, guys. And until next time, I'm C-Dubs, and I'll see you in the universe. Peace.